child that I worked with today has a very good understanding of money and how much $100 can really buy. He came up with something that was not very realistic. He wanted to build a hut in Jamaica. Hay for sale. Does that look like a good place to go? Okay, double click on. Rather than say, no, you can't do it, try something else, I wanted him to find out for himself. It's an opportunity, an authentic opportunity for him to do some inquiry on the internet, an opportunity for me to demonstrate for him how to do a search and have him apply it to a real application, something he's working on. $50 a ton. So if you have, how many tons do you think you might need?
I don't know how much a ton is.
A ton is 2,000 pounds.
2.
You think you need 2 tons? Well, how are you going to put it together? How are you going to, you have bales of hay here. How are you going to put it together in the hut? How are you going to make it stand up and have walls? You don't know? But you're probably going to need something to do that. Will that cost money too? Yeah. Is this going to work? Can we go to plan B? Yeah, we'll go to plan B. He came up with another idea, some kind of lizard.
I know what I'm going to do.
And immediately decided, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to find out how much this lizard costs before I begin writing. This is a class who's celebrating the 100th day of school, talking about all the things they do in school. All of my guided reading groups are at the point where they have first graders and second graders. How happy they are on the 100th day. My groups are fluid, dynamic, always changing based on the needs of the children. I'm going to give you a book, and I want to hear you read the 100th day of school. Catherine, begin reading. Lindsay, begin reading. Sadie, begin reading. I'd like to hear you. Nope.
In school we work and lesson plan. In school we work and...
When they are just learning how to read, the way that I find out what's going on is to hear them read it. When they begin to develop a sight word vocabulary, when I know this child very well and what this child knows, and I've made a good match with the book, it's not as important for me to hear everything that is going on.
We count to 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My favorite is this page. My favorite is this page. Like hip hip hooray. It's like baby hooray.
What?
We bathe.
Okay, keep going.
100 balloons. That's the story.
So what do you think that says? What do we do with 100 balloons at the store?
Bye.
Aha, good. Right.
We are in school 100 days.
Mm-hmm.
5
Uh-huh.
of us. We each get 4.
Good. Keep going.
We bake 100 cookies on 5 pans of 20.
Good.
We can all share. No, 8.
Keep going. We can all share.
5, 6, 7. We have 20.
So what do you think that says? We can all share. What's this part of the word? Just the beginning. We can all share B.
Because
Aha.
we have 20.
Great. Keep going. The decision to intervene when children are reading orally and guided reading, this is a wonderful opportunity for me to gather information about that child as a reader. But sometimes a child makes it clear that they're not going to be able to take away comprehension from this text because there is a word that is giving them a lot of trouble. Sometimes I can provide a strategy, or I can remind them of a strategy that I've told them about before that will get them through the book. 100 days. Rhyming pair, you have it? Do you have it? Lindsay, Cara, rhyming pair on that page?
3 days.
What? Say it again. I think you said it, but say it louder so I can.
3 days.
Hooray. And you know what makes that confusing? It has an S at the end. Hooray and day. We did a word family with that. Do you remember which one it was? Do you remember which words they were? Hooray and day. What family was that?
Payday.
They were payday words. Great. What did you notice about this story? Yeah.
They did 100. They did 100 of everything.
Okay. Did you notice anything else about it? I want to believe that all reading is meaning driven. What did you notice about the words?
It rhymes.
It rhymes. And it's something that I say to children all the time. When they make a miscue, look at that word again. Does it make sense? Pay attention to what you're reading. Are you keeping a story in your head? So that's how I want them to see it. I want them to adopt my views on this. I want them to believe that they should be constructing meaning. Boys and girls, please join me on the rug. I want to talk about our 100th Day of School books. No, Dylan, you're going to be too far away there. I need you here so you can see this. Turn around. Turn around. Okay, some of us know more about one book than another, but what we're going to do is compare them. We're going to look at the books that we've read about the 100th Day of School and talk about how they are alike and different. We are going to look at 3 ways to compare these books. Who can read the first thing? The first one. Jimmy?
Who is the main character?
Okay, and the other thing we're going to look at. Okay, Sadie?
What is the problem?
What?
What was the problem?
Okay, past tense. These are books we've read already. And Wendy?
How did they celebrate?
They're all about the 100th Day of School, and all of these classes celebrated the 100th Day of School, and we're going to talk about how. Okay, the 100th Day of School. Who was the main character? Who remembers? Yes.
On the 100th Day of School, everybody was.
Everybody was the whole class. Didn't have one specific main character. Good job, Sadie. And that's what I'm going to write. I'm going to write the whole class. What was the problem in the 100th Day of School? Was Sadie the only one who read that? Catherine, Lindsay?
I forgot.
You forgot.
Nothing.
Nothing. It was one of those good. It was one of those descriptive books where there isn't any really a problem. It's telling you about all the things that happen. That's why you didn't know. You couldn't find a problem, right? So I'm going to write, there was no problem. Can you think of other books you've read where there was no problem? They just describe things that happen and there was no real your book? Yeah, a lot of the books that you write in writing workshop have no problems, and they write these, I call them bed-to-bed pieces. I woke up in the morning, I came to school, I had recess, I went to Brownies, I had dinner, I went to bed. There's no conflict. What's happening here? And Sadie applied that to published text. How did they celebrate? There were lots of things. Let's get as many in as we can. Yes?
They get balloons. They bought balloons.
Okay, they had balloons, 100 balloons. That would be nice. Yes?
I think they had a spelling bee.
Yes.
100 words. You had to spell something with 100 words.
Can we do
That's
that?
right.
Can the second graders do that?
Spelling bee with 100 words?
Yeah, I could do that.
Are you up for it? Okay. Anybody else want to do that, a spelling bee with 100 words? We'll try it as soon as we're done with this. At the end, after we talk about all of them. The 100th greatest day of school. Who was the main character? Jimmy.
Wanda. She couldn't find anything to bring to on the 100th Day of School celebration.
Connor.
They all bring 100 of something.
Who was the main character?
Jessica.
What was Jessica's problem?
Same as the 100th greatest day of school.
What was the problem?
There was no problem.
And how did they celebrate?
Just like those
Who was the main character?
Emily. They the day in the week in their number journal.
Great job. Okay, we have read 5 books about the 100th day of school. And before you go back to your writing, I want you to decide which one you enjoyed the most and sign your name. Decide where you want to go. The objective I had in mind was for them to compare and contrast activities that schools use to celebrate the 100th day of school. The extra bonus was comparing the kind of stories, the stories that had conflict and the stories that were descriptive. The 100th greatest day of school, and why did you like it?
Because I like it when she brings her aunt, and even though she didn't have anything to bring,
It's a really different thing to bring, isn't it? Someone who is 100 years old. Very different. When a child comes up with a suggestion, I like to go with it. The word is sound. We need you to not make a sound.
SOUND.
Fabulous. Move over. Max, your word is take. Take me out to the ball game.
TAK.
Nice shot, Max. Have a seat. Alec, try take. I have a published list that I use for the word wall, so it had a readily available list. This was something that I can do right away, so I went with it. Okay, the word is food.
FOOD.
Great. The word is between.
BETWEEN.
Wow, the word is own. Do you own any toys?
OWN.
The word is below. The pencil.
BELOW.
The word is country. What country do you live in?
CONTRY.
Excellent try, but not it. Good job. Good job. And I have.
I know
What?
it is. COUNTRY.
Great. I have 100 day of school pencils for both of you because you did a fabulous job. I have the best job in the world. I have fun every single day. Want to make a 100 crown here? Lots of people say to me, so now that you've done this, now that you've had this training, now that you've had this education, what are you going to do? And I always say, I'm going to be a really knowledgeable primary teacher. This job is really important. I think we need really knowledgeable people doing it. This is where I need to be. This is where I want to be.